Hi everybody, it's Dawn Kirkham here and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about what magic is and if you are in fact a crystal witch. I'm hoping to break down some of the myths of witchcraft, to demystify the practice and to build your confidence so that you can step out and declare, I am a crystal witch. Now, crystal witchcraft is perhaps one of the oldest forms of magical practice. Since ancient times, crystals have been venerated and used in all kinds of spiritual rituals. They've been prized for their unique energetic properties. Romans used crystals as amulets or protective talismans to attract good health, fortune and prosperity. They also used them for good outcomes during battle. Ancient Chinese healing practice leveraged the energetic properties of crystals, and Egyptians used them in ritual. Ancient Greeks and Japanese people harnessed crystal power for protection and to enhance psychic ability. And Ayurvedic medicine of ancient India, well, they consider crystals and gemstones invaluable to counteract the effects of astrology and karma. And in one of the oldest Hindu scripts, the Vedas, healing crystals are documented with their specific healing properties. So crystal witchcraft is in our blood, it's in our psyche, and it's part of our DNA. And we're reclaiming what is our heritage, what is our birthright. So let's start with what a crystal witch is. Well, a crystal witch uses the innate power, personality and intelligence of rocks, stones, minerals and crystals. Now, the use of the term crystal is a generic one. It encompasses all of these things because technically a crystal is only a crystal if their atomic structure forms to a specific crystalline pattern. It's quite specific, and clearly not all the materials we work with are technically crystals, although we do use the term as a blanket cover-all. Imagine being called a rock, mineral, stone and crystal witch. It doesn't have the same ring. Now, if you've picked up a beach rock because it drew you to it, you are a crystal witch. If you peruse the metaphysical shops looking for a feel-good stone, you're a crystal witch. If you've spoken your desires, hopes and dreams to a rock or a stone, you are a crystal witch. Crystal witches are born. They're drawn to the power of crystals as young children. They hear the crystal call strongly, and they're compelled to pick them up, to handle them, to carry them, to sleep with them, for no other good reason than it just feels good. Now, sadly, many crystal witches are persuaded away from their fanciful notions that stones have inherent powers. This happens as we mature. Playing with rocks are for children, right? Perhaps you turned away from your collection of rocks as you established close friendships and relationships with others. Perhaps in school, college or university, and of course the world of work, made you forget your crystal allies in your life. It happens. The non-magical world has a hold on us like no other. We strive to be normal and to fit in, to fulfill the hopes and dreams of our parents. Good grades, good schools, good job, good partner in life. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that these are not really important and good goals to have, and I'm not asking you to set these aside. What I'm saying is that you can fulfill your potential as a crystal witch and do those things. You don't have to forget who you are in your pursuit of normal. I encourage you to find your normal and not one that has been found for you. I invite you to flex your crystal witch muscles, to remember who you are, to reconnect with the crystalline kingdom in a deep and meaningful way. I invite you to leverage their innate wisdom in your magical practice, in your daily life, and to develop a strong relationship and partnership with them. They're sentient beings, and they're calling you home, my friend. They're asking you to take your place in the universe, to declare to yourself, I am a crystal witch. So my desire is to inspire your practice with crystals and to help you to tap into your own power, to expand your practice and your use of crystals, specifically within the context of ritual and spellcraft. And I'm not advocating any one magical philosophy or lineage over another. There are many different approaches to magical practice. There are many different branches and ways of being and knowing. And all I can do is to share my perspective and my truths based on a couple of decades of learning and practicing. Now, if you think you might be a crystal witch, I invite you to watch the video through, but watch it with an open mind and a heart full of love. Take what resonates. So let's start with what a witch is. Well, witchcraft is an incredibly diverse field, and witches choose to define themselves or not in a wide variety of ways. Now, there is a common misconception that I want to clear up. Being a witch does not necessarily mean that you are Wiccan. Not everybody is, including me. Now, Wicca is a modern branch of witchcraft, which classes itself as a religion. And within Wicca, there are several different traditions. So there's a Gardnerian tradition, an Alexandrian tradition, and a Corellian tradition, and more. And they follow a similar set of beliefs and rituals and tend to have a very structured hierarchy. And for those that are drawn to a different path, well, there are many that you can take with your magical practice. There are many types of witches and many types of witchcraft. So a witch is commonly defined as somebody who practices magical arts. They're a spellcaster or an occultist. And a crystal witch is generally a witch who, well, they've decided to focus his or her craft. They are, witches can be men as well, but they focus them primarily on crystals. And this means that a crystal witch will work with crystals in an intentional way, and they'll use them in their magical workings and their spells. Have I piqued your interest yet? Well, if you want to know more, stay tuned. Well, let's break down what magic is. Well, the word magic is rooted in ancient history, with its origins being in late Middle English, but also Old French, from Latin, and also from Greek language as well. So it's been around for a very long time indeed. And there are as many definitions of magic as there are people practicing it. We're not joined by a universal definition that everybody agrees on. So all I can do is to present you with what my understanding is and what my definition is. And this is based on my years of dedicated practice to the craft. So let's start with what the dictionary says. Well, Oxford Dictionary says the power of apparently influencing events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. Another definition is it's the practice of using various techniques, such as incantation, to exert control over the supernatural or the forces of nature, and that's Webster's Dictionary. Now, I don't care for any of those definitions, as there are so many words in there that trigger me. I don't like the use of the word apparently, mysterious supernatural forces, but I also don't like exert control. They're the ones that I have the biggest reaction to. So for me, magic is the releasing of concentrated intent or energy into the universe to aid us in achieving a goal. It's perfectly natural. And what I've come to understand about magical practice is this. It's an art, not a science. It's a practice. It's not a bunch of techniques. We do it for life. It's a spiritual journey. And if we let it, it can change us on our deepest level. It allows us to take control of our lives and our destiny. We get to harness the natural energy of the universe. But it's based on reverence for nature and her cycles and a deep respect for the earth. It acknowledges the life in all things and it's in harmony with those. It works with what's seen as well as what's unseen. It's a partnership. It's not about controlling. It's empowering, it's uplifting, and it's freeing. It's not dark or demonic or unnatural or wrong. It's not about control or domination, greed or harm. At the core of it is love and respect, love of self, love of others, love of everything that is. And practicing in this way reminds us that when we're all connected, we're one with all that is and will be. And what we do affects not only us, but everyone and everything around us. So magic is about healing, manifestation, empowerment and growth. And magic is about energy and vibration. And everything is energy. It's not static, it's not inanimate, it's responsive and it's dynamic. And we interact with this energy every day. It renews, changes shape, and it transforms. Through our thoughts and emotions, we get to shape the energy within and around us. And for the most part, well, we probably do that fairly subconsciously, without awareness. We're influencing the world around us without us even knowing. Now imagine doing that with awareness, with focus and with deliberate skill. Our influence on this energy becomes conscious and it becomes meaningful. And this is what magic is. And you've been engaged in magic for your whole life, albeit without any knowledge. Now, magical practice involves both ritual and spellcraft. So ritual, well, that's a ceremony and it consists of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. And in magic, we heavily rely on ritual in order to bring ourselves into the right mind and heart space in order to build and to release the power that we want to in order to bring about what we want to achieve. And spellcraft, well, it's the art and craft of creating and casting spells. It honors the power of the well-crafted word. Now, it's more subtle as the words are not only written, but they're spoken as well. But they're not to people, but to nature or the energetic universe. And we use them to bring about the change that we want. And we often bring spellcraft into our ritual work as well. And we can chant, we can speak them, we can sing them, we can write them and burn them. And they include repetition, rhythm, reversals, nonsense words, foreign words, and divine names of power. We can really have some fun with spellcraft. So, crystal witchcraft, well, that works with the power of crystals, rocks, stones, and minerals. We work in partnership with them to bring about the change that we desire. And we are unlikely to cast a spell without it including a crystal or two. They really are true allies in our work. Now, a little earlier I said that magic acknowledges the life in all things, and it's in harmony with those. And this really speaks to the animist nature of witchcraft. Now, I can't speak for all witches, I can only speak for myself, but I believe that there is a consciousness in everything that surrounds us, even the inanimate objects, and this includes crystals that I work with. I believe that they possess a life force. They possess an intelligence and they possess a personality. They're not tools. They're partners in our work. And we develop a relationship with them. They're sentient beings who honor us in their willingness to work with us. They're not in servitude to us and they shouldn't be bossed around and used and abused. So in practical terms, this means that we don't just care for our crystals and keep them well and energetically cleansed. We ask permission each time we consider working with them. They get to choose whether they wish to partner with us in our endeavour, whichever we want to work on. And we spend time getting to know them before we demand they work for us. We listen to them, we learn from them, and we let go of any perceived control. Now, I know that some of you hearing this might be rolling your eyes around about now. It sounds a bit bad to be asking permission from a rock, but I invite you to suspend your disbelief and maybe to lean into this practice. And I believe that you'll see a huge difference in your work with crystals if you just start asking permission and developing your relationships with them. Now, hopefully I've demystified magic and have given you the confidence to believe. I've given you the confidence to know that your work with crystals is indeed magical, and that you're already practicing ritual in your work with crystals. And it's highly likely that you're engaged in spell work, even if you don't realize it. So how do I know that? Well, words spoken with intention are spells. So cleansing crystals is a ritual. Putting them out on a full moon to charge them is a ritual. Asking a crystal to help us to achieve healing, wellness, or manifestation is magical practice. And the fact that you're working with a crystal makes you a crystal witch. Now, there are many types of witchcraft and many types of witches, and in this video I'm not going to go into those. Many witches work with crystals, but not all call themselves a crystal witch, and that's okay. You can actually call yourself whatever you like, or nothing at all. You can pick and choose what parts of magical practice works for you. It doesn't have to look a particular way at all. You don't have to conform to any one way of being. You get to create your practice. You get to be you. And all that I ask is that you do that within a framework of ethical practice, that you think carefully about the impact of your magical workings, that you let go of ego, that you work from the heart and from a place of love, that you evolve your spiritual practice and you keep learning. Even the most venerated witch has much to learn. It really is a continuous journey, and we're constantly evolving. And finally, remember the words of Dumbledore. It is our choices who show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. Ta-ta for now.